Where Pembrokeshire fronts the sea, you can trace the beginnings of my county. 1,000 centuries have gone to shape the savage beauty of the cliffs, carved by slow razors of ice and sculptured by the waves. In caverns, we have found the bones of the mammoth and the woolly rhinoceros, and of their hunters too, early men who settled hereabouts. Ours has ever been a windy landscape, and there are trees which turn hunchbacked before the whipping gales. To the open country of North Pembrokeshire came the prehistoric builders of monuments to raise unhewn rock for their burial chambers, the cromlechau. On the Preseli Hills, the Stone Age gods made their home, a place so sacred that over 80 of the great blue stone pillars, found only here, were manhandled 200 miles over land to form the inner circle of Stonehenge. In the Preseli Hills too, traces remain of townships standing before Christ walked in Galilee. When his word spread, it came here before it came to Canterbury. It will have been some early Christian who in Latin still asks us to make fervent prayer for his soul. Nicked on the side of the stone, a Celtic inscription in the straight lines of the ancient Ogham alphabet. Tall Christian crosses bear the Celtic plaited design, thought to symbolize eternity. Here in the peaceful churchyard of Nevern, a severed yew tree bleeds, reminding us perhaps of the bloodshed and fire which drove the Celts to the harsh bogland of the north, refuge from the relentless Norsemen. Finding a haven to winter in, the invaders called it Milford, and the Norse tongue echoes again in the names of those rugged offshore islands, Stockholm, Skomer and Grassholm. Some say it was fear of the Norse marauders which caused St. David's Cathedral to be built in a hollow. Pilgrims to the shrine of St. David often came by sea. This Misericorde, with its seasick travellers, makes no doubt of their tribulations. The pilgrims came to worship before the relics of the saint, now treasured in a casket behind the high altar. Pilgrims of quality would be offered hospitality within the bishop's palace. They flocked to St. David's as if to Rome, for it was decreed that 2 pilgrimages here equaled 1 to the holy city itself. Then, as now, the Landsker, a no-man's land of hill country and swamp, divides the county. The open belfries of the churches in the north contrast with the tall southern towers, first set up by the occupying Normans as lookouts against rebelling Welshmen. The Normans, too, made Pembrokeshire a county of castles. Manorbier, Kilgerran, Narberth, Benton, Haverfordwest, Roach, and impregnable upon its rock, Pembroke. In such a setting, a Pembrokeshire pageant can bring the past alive again. Through the turmoil of centuries, to a day when Henry Tudor returned to Pembroke Castle, his birthplace. From here, Henry set out on the long road to Bosworth Field and the Crown of England. So history unfolds. The natural harbour of Milford Haven was declared by Nelson to be second only to Trincomalee. To the haven, from distant Nantucket, came a little colony of whaling families, all Quakers. Their meeting house still stands. They went to their rest, and their whaling industry died with them. But in the Quaker churchyard and in street names, they are remembered. Today, the fishermen of Milford Haven are after smaller fry: whiting, haddock, sole and cod, hake, turbot, brill, skate and plaice, mackerel and herring. Seven days a week, 52 weeks a year, the fishing vessels are about their business. At all seasons, Pembrokeshire is blessedly mild. February, even January, will find the potato planters at work. Now the foresters are out, transplanting the young conifers. Spring is upon us. The first lambs are dropped on Priscilla, and God tempers the wind. The wild ponies, too, feel the spring fever. All the air carries the scent of the first flowers. The rock plants, too, have blossomed. And the rock pools reflect the clear spring light. Come at this season along the cliffs or to the islands. Here too, life is beginning. Gull, kittiwake, guillemot, razorbill, shag, puffin, gannet. But listen, let the birds speak for themselves. So the seabirds in their thousands find sanctuary. But besides ornithology, Pembrokeshire provides for the students of other ologies. Thus biology and nature study for those who attend the Field Studies Centre at Dale Fort. And geology, with always the chance that the hammer tap may reveal some long imprisoned treasure. And archaeology too, sifting and interpreting the sherds of the past in earthwork hut circle or burial barrow. Not only the student and scientist find profit in the rocks. Here, edible seaweed is being gathered to make lava bread, a breakfast favourite in South Wales. On the River Teivi, you find a survival from the past, seine netting for salmon. And infinitely older still, the wickerwork coracles, nets slung between them, also out for salmon and sea trout. The coracles come in handy at Kennath, where a plunge into the river washes the sheep before shearing. In isolated mills, the ancient crafts of spinning and weaving brought to Pembrokeshire by the Flemings. Tweeds and blankets are in demand, but new apprentices to carry on are hard to find. The wood turner will still shape you a spoon. But for other handicrafts, we must cross over to Caldy Island, where the monks of the Cistercian order provide for their own needs and for worldly ones too. Scents distilled here from flowers grown in the monastery garden are sold to the fashionable. Once a year, a coal boat from Swansea comes to the island and the brothers get down to unloading her. In hard work, meditation and worship, they pass their dedicated lives. In the words of the Father Prior,
my dear brethren, what then is the purpose of our monastic life? It is to continue the life of Christ here on earth. We praise God as he praised God. We give God thanks as he gave God thanks. In all this, in our work and prayer, we are never alone, for he works and prays with us and in us.
Now it's high summer, and holiday makers throng the beaches of Tenby, Saundersfoot and Broadhaven, of Littlehaven and Manorbier. mess about in boats at Milford and Solva, Tenby, Saundersfoot, Fishguard and Dale. Yielding to the wind, what better than to be carried across the water, when you know how? The aqualung divers, whose dive is hardly elegant. But once in the submarine twilight, they become part of the slow-motion ballet of the deep. The more brilliant the sunshine, the more the caves strike chill, awing visitors with their sudden gloom. Ramblers follow the limestone steps down a small ravine to St. Govan's Chapel and its beach of boulders, or take the path to the Bosheston pools to linger over the water lilies. Every year, the county show draws the crowds. The sturdy Welsh cattle parading past seem to know they're worth looking at. All too soon, the gold of summer is fading. The last of the holiday makers are on the move. Pembrokeshire is left to its own devices. Autumn steals across the landscape. All the year round, the bird watchers miss nothing. Zealous observation and ringing of the birds continually add to our knowledge of their habits and migrations. Above the upper reaches of the Cleddau, the ducks are flying. And starlings swarm for wintering. To the surf of Ramsey Island comes the Atlantic grey seal to drop her single calf upon the lonely beach. You will feed it for 2 to 3 weeks. Soon the calves will be wandering, perhaps to Ireland or to Brittany. Among the Soay sheep introduced by the Norsemen, the mating season goads the males into battle. From the northern slopes, the flocks are brought down each winter to the plains of the milder south. This is the time for plashing the hedges. there's winter ploughing to be done. At the end of the day, we relax with a pint. Our Pembrokeshire song mourns the untimely death of a black pig, a mochin dee. Suddenly there's a dust of snow on Preseli top. Like a Christmas card it is. Pembrokeshire turkeys. Now they're big business, believe me. For the turkeys, this is a most upsetting time of year. A Christmas card or a tax demand? Never mind, everyone likes to see the postman in the lonelier villages. At Haverfordwest on Boxing Day, they ride to hounds. And so the daily round as the mild winter slips by. The children gather for their service at St. David's on the 1st of March, which is St. David's Day. The sap is rising again in flower and tree. Again the streams run full and clear. Again the sunny bays are bright with gorse. The year has come full circle. At the tug of the moon, the rollers course towards the beaches that have known the print of saint and king and ordinary folk. In time, the rocks will crumble, but the spirit of my county endures. Blessed with such beauty under a gentle sky, time lies easily on Pembrokeshire.